and we can hear from him now. Bruno Fernandes is speaking with Stuart.
Bruno, are you happy with the point in the end, or do you think we might have won the game?
No, you're never happy when you don't win the game, but obviously the game was really difficult, and I think 1 point can be good, but 3 points will be much better.
Obviously a difficult start, conceding a goal so early, but you played some great stuff in that first half in particular, I thought.
Yeah, we played a good game in the first half. In the second half, we need to be more. We need to have more the ball. We need to touch more the ball and don't kick away. Maybe we don't play a lot in the second half like we want to do. But also Everton is a difficult team when they have really good players and they have quality. And so this football is like this. Sometimes what you want to do is not coming out.
Tell us about your goal.
It was a shot. I'm happy the ball goes in. It doesn't matter how the ball goes. The important is the goal.
Second half, more difficult perhaps to create clear-cut chances. I suppose you would expect an improvement from Everton, and we saw that in the second half.
No, I think in the second half also we create a lot of chance. We have in the last minutes we have some chance to score. Also, I remember the last one with me and Igalo, and if he scored there, now we talk in a different situation. Also I have some shots outside of the box. I can do much better, but obviously the game goes like this. Now we need to focus on the game against Derby.
It was a typical Premier League game, you know, chances at either end, crowd involved as well. What was it like to be a part of?
No, it's amazing. The atmosphere was amazing. The game was so hard, so intense. This is the football. This is what the players like. This is what the players want.
Did you fear the worst at the end with the goal that eventually disallowed for Everton?
No, because I saw Sigurdsson, I think, because he was there. So my first reaction was to go to the referee, say that we can move because you have the opponent there. But also if we lost here the game, we need to be, also with this draw, we need to be a little bit mad because we need to give much better. We need to win the games because we want the place for the Champions League. So we need to try more, to improve more, and I think in the next games we will be much better.
Well played today. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Gary.
The game's changed probably from my days, mate. You know, you're looking at squad rotation and the amount of games that teams are playing. And he wanted to give Eric games. He'd been out a long time injured. He brought him back in. He brought him back in for, it was the Bruges game, wasn't it? And for the first 10 minutes of that game, he probably looked rusty. And then I thought he was terrific after that. Now he's finding his way back from full fitness. And you've got to make sure he's still available for the rest of the season. You don't want him to be playing game after game after game. That's probably all he's looking at that right now. But I agree with what you're saying in principle. I think if you play week in, week out with a defensive partner, I think you get to understand each other's game better, and you become a stronger unit. But I think football has changed in this period of time.
Let me ask you, thanks because let me ask you as well. We played against Chelsea with a 3 at the back. Yeah. And then that allows you to have obviously a lot of width and a lot of pace out wide, and it allows you to put Brandon Williams and Luke Shaw in the same team as well. Yeah. How do you think a 3 fits for United? I know it all depends on the opposition, but
it does depend on the opposition, and I agree. You get a bit more width with the attacking fullbacks as well. But Ollie sees it as Ollie sees it and decides on the day. But I think Harry would. I mean, listen, I thought Harry was terrific again today. I thought the balls into the box were some great balls that they delivered in there, and Harry lived up to his nickname Slabhead and got a lot of you know what I mean, was terrific in that area.
Did he live up to that Slabhead nickname? What did he do to live up to Slabhead?
That Slabhead was on the end of everything that got put into that box. So I think it was Jamie Vardy giving him that nickname, wasn't it? You know what I mean? But no, I mean that you're 6'4". I mean that's part of the reason you're in the team to do that, and I thought he was tremendous again today, and he's leading by example, and he's been, you know, since he's got that armband, I think he's been fantastic. So, but yeah, listen, you want to see the same team week in, week out, but unfortunately with the amount of games that we play now, Premier League, European, the League Cup games, whatever, international football that a lot of the players are involved in. You need to give the players a rest.
Do you know more about? Do you have obviously you have an understanding when you're playing with someone for a long time. Obviously you were playing with Bruce. Do you have that sort of mental connection where you know that if you don't get back, he's going to be that cover and all? Does that actually go on?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, probably subconsciously you don't actually think about, oh well, you know what I mean. It's just a natural instinct. You know what I mean. I knew the strengths of Brucey. He knew the strengths of me, and you adapt to that in a period of time. And it does make it. Listen, the more you do play it together, the better it is. You know, we had a back four and back five if you counted Peter Schmeichel that played. It was up Parker, Bruce, Pallister, Irwin for, you know what I mean. We hardly ever missed a game, and you know, it's like looking at the Arsenal back four. They were regimented so well in that offside trap that they used to do. It became second nature to them. So yeah, the more you play together, the more that understanding comes on.
Okay, all right. Keep your calls coming in. 0161236 1968. We'll go back to the phone lines right after we hear from Stuart and Ben.
Well, an impossibly dramatic game. United going behind in an unfathomable situation early on. David De Gea's clearance hitting Calvert-Lewin, deflecting him 1-0. But United were superb in that first half and thoroughly deserved Fernandes' equaliser from 25 yards after Matic played him in. Second half, Everton with the better side. Sigurdsson hit the post. They had corners galore. But United could have snatched it late on. Fernandes and Ighalo denied by a brilliant double save by Pickford. But in stoppage time, Sigurdsson's effort deflected into the United net off Maguire, but they had a man down inside the 6-yard box. VAR looked at it, decided he was offside, therefore interfering with play. Goal ruled out. Everton furious. Ancelotti so incensed he was sent off after the game for his protestations. What a match!
It was incredible, and I don't think I've ever heard quite so much noise after a final whistle has gone as I have inside this stadium. But yeah, United were magnificent in the first half, and barring a freak goal would have been deserving leaders going in at the break. But something happened at half-time, both to Everton and to Manchester United. United's passing went awry, they invited pressure, they gave away far too many needless set pieces, especially corners. And I think on balance of play, Stuart, a 1-1 draw is a fair result, but the way they played in the first half was so encouraging. The way they played in the second half, not so.
Mayhem. Not a bad point in the end. Everton 1, United 1.
So we're going to take a look at maybe 3 points of today's game. Danny, first up, the Diamond is a good shape going forward. I think the first half United dominated away from home.
Yeah, I thought we did, and I touched on it at half-time. You know, playing this when you've got the players that we had out there today, Matic, McTominay, Fred, and then Fernandes to go and roam and do what he does. You know, he can go out wide, he can run in behind, he can drop deep. You know, that was his role today. Second half, he didn't see as much of the ball as you'd like, but it means you're strong through the spine of the team, and it gives you a platform to work from.
I think it's a really interesting solution versus a 4-4-2. You have that natural overload in midfield. You've got the number 10. You've got a defensive midfielder. And if United do want to slightly tweak it with the signing of Bruno Fernandes, they can drop to that back three against certain shapes and certain systems. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got a lot of weapons now in terms of formations that he could use. Yeah,
he does. I mean, it helps. Obviously, we signed Bruno. There's McTominay's come back into the team. Matic, when he came in, did really well. Fred as well has had the energy, and then it works horses for courses. Depends which team you're playing, where they're strong as well. And I think Ollie employs the three at the back, normally in the bigger games where he thinks they could be a bit of a threat and he wants to be solid, and it gives us the opportunity for these wide boys. You say if we do play with the three at the back, for the wide boys here and here to get up and down and provide the width really, but also a little bit of defensive cover when we're defending.
Really good variation, 100%. But let's talk about the Diamond. Bruno Fernandes, man of the match again for Manchester United. The most shots on goal, of course, he scored. He won the most tackles, 5 out of 9, which is really impressive for an attacking midfielder. And of course, the most passes in the final third. He gives United so much more in that sort of number 10 area, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I don't think that's down to formation. I think that's purely down to the type of person he is, the type of player, the way he goes about his business. You know, the fact that he's winning tackles and he's scoring goals. He's an all-round midfielder. So, you know, for me, he's an intelligent player. He picks up the pockets. He knows when to turn. He brings other people into play. When he makes a mistake, he's the first one to go and try and win the ball back as well, hence him winning so many tackles. So, yeah, for me, I don't think that has anything to do with formation. It's just the person he is players on the pitch.
No, because we saw that when United did switch to that, 4 across the midfield, bit of a 4-2-3-1, and Bruno moved to that number 10 position behind Igalo, where he had that really big chance at the end, and we saw that sort of intricacy in his game. It was almost quite an interesting finish he tried over Jordan Pickford. It was kind of sliced, but it was looping over.
Yeah, he's got that array. He's got an array of passes, array of finishes. Sometimes he'll inside the foot. He's got the dink pass that he plays. He played over for Mata the other night when he squared it to Igalo. He's got all sorts in his locker. So when you see him anywhere near the goal, you back him to at least hit the target with. And for me, I like, even when he doesn't hit the target, he goes again. He had a couple of shots, didn't quite hit the target today, but he's got the courage to get on the ball.
Got to talk about Harry Maguire as well, because I thought it was fantastic at the back. Made 15 clearances, 12 more than any other United player, 10 of which with his head. So important from those set pieces. Yeah,
he was immense, and I think most of them probably came off corners. He was stood on the 6-yard line. Every time a corner came in, he was in and around here, and he just was dominant. He was physical, and the ball. He was attracted to the ball, and the ball was attracted to him. But he does that very well. He does it with a lot of purpose, and it's what you'd expect. It's a big part of his game.
Well, there are our thoughts. We're going to have a little quick break, and then we'll be back to Andy in the studio.